Yeah, true. Hi there, and welcome to Let's Talk Personal. I am your host, Frances Reimers. With you as always, thank you once again for joining us this week. We always appreciate your participation. If you'd like to join the conversation, please join us on Twitter at LTP Brand Radio and on Instagram at Let's Talk Personal. If you'd like to talk personally to me, you can reach me on Twitter at Your Firestarter or on Instagram at Firestarter CEO. I couldn't remember what account I was talking about. We have a lot going on in today's show. I'm super excited for it. And in honor of today's show, I wanted to switch up, introduce something new into the format. So I did bring in Rosé. I felt that Rosé was very appropriate for today's guest. So with me today is the chairwoman of the Dating Advisory Board, Jen Hecht.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for joining me. For those of you at home who don't know, I have been a guest on Jen's show multiple times, but it is the first time I am returning the favor. But we have a deep category of a collection of hits.
Yes.
We have some quotables.
We have some fun.
We have some quotables.
We have some tweetable moments.
We've had some tweetable moments.
Yes.
Because we talk about real shit.
Yeah, well, we're in the trenches.
We're in the trenches.
That's what a lot of people don't realize.
we're in the trenches.
We are in the trenches of this dating world, just like everybody else.
Oh
right?
my God. Yeah. Well, yes. Yes.
I want to get to your spreadsheets later too.
Oh my God. So we'll talk about my spreadsheets. I think by now everyone in the DC metro area knows about my spreadsheets. But I want to talk about you first, and then we'll get into the weeds of what we do in our spare time. So a lot of people out there, especially the guys and gals who are watching from the great state of Wyoming, are not aware of the Dating Advisory Board.
Yes.
And you have the majority of your career has been in the sales and marketing world, and then you kind of took a quick divert.
Yeah,
over to the Dating Advisory Board. How did that happen?
Yeah,
you did a serious
I did
pivot.
a pivot, right?
You did a serious pivot. How did that happen?
Yeah. So basically what happened, so I've been in sales and marketing, doing SEO and PPC for my company, Bencom. So I've been the vice president of telecommunications for 12 and a half years.
Yes.
So I have over 300 customers in different areas, which this will come up.
Right.
Different areas, IT, defense contractors,
nonprofits,
charities.
Yep.
I actually have more nonprofits than I do out of anybody else.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And so for me, when I found myself back in the dating world after many moons,
after a hot minute,
I thought to myself, man, this is really overwhelming. There's no communities out there. There's 20 million apps. I don't even know where to begin.
Right.
So I thought to myself, I said, well, I was talking to my girlfriend. She's like, talking about her advisory board for work. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why don't I have my own dating advisory board? And then it kind of fueled from there. Right, going on to, okay, let's build this business around. Similarly, that I go in and I build business, for customers, like communication infrastructures. But we'll get to that. But it was just funny when I went out there. I'm like, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a strategy. Just similar in business, like dating in business is not that different. It's creating relationships and maintaining those relationships.
Right.
Yeah.
Some more than others. But so tell us a little bit what is the Dating Advisory Board? Kind of give us the nuts and bolts of what it is, and how someone off the street would want to get involved with the Dating Advisory Board.
Okay, so there's some layers to it. But the main part, like I said, about trying to build a community, because I was looking when a lot of people when they get out of divorces or even long-term relationships, number one, they're not the best version of themselves.
No.
And
eating a lot of ice cream alone.
Yeah. But think about it though, you also lose friendships, family.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so now you're in this whole hey, for those women that hadn't worked for 40 years.
Yeah, they have no job.
They don't have a job,
or skills or anything or a resume.
Right. And so you're thinking to myself, man, and I had done some work in the law space, and so I knew kind of like what these types of women, like we help empower women to do that. So I thought, man, I said I have this network of people that I know in different areas of business, right? Just in that are entrepreneurs or therapists who are dating coaches, who are subject matter experts in their field, and I thought to myself, man, like if they're trying to, if say a woman, she's been married 40 years, like we were saying.
Right.
And she wanted to go out and say, well, I don't know what I want to do with my life. Like, what am I going to do now? Like, I don't know work. Do I go back to school? What do I do? And, and so, partnering with the right companies. So like Store Community Network.
Right.
So they put on different events. They show you how to mission map your life.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yes.
So then you kind of step back and say, oh, okay, there's a community that does that. But when I was searching for answers or like, what am I supposed to do?
Right.
There wasn't a one cohesive place to go and somebody that was in the trenches.
Right.
So that's for me was that, I'm learning too, just from all these experts, as well as trying to give that content to everybody else. Because that's really the premise of why I created the Dating Advisory Board. I said, well, if I'm curious, I know other people are too.
And so how does someone get started with the Dating Advisory Board? What's the entry point? What do you want them to do? How do they get involved?
Okay. Well, first, we go to thedatingadvisoryboard.com and sign up so you can get our newsletter. We got some amazing stuff coming down the pike in probably about a month.
Right.
Yeah. So I'll get into that, but we're doing packaging and coaching packaging that I'm doing, but also partnering with different, like I talked about Store Community Network with Mayma Carmo's event, I Manifest Bliss and other events, and we're also going to put on our own events as well. Right. So just to kind of help people get out there, because Francis, it's a Friday night, and you're like, ooh, this couch looks real good, or hey, I could get that ice cream out there and just call it a night. Yeah. Right. And or I got emails I can do. Right. And then you know what I always think of? I think of you. You know why? No, I'll tell you a story. Frances came up with something brilliant. If you guys don't know about this, she's awesome. Number one. It's a true story. But no, when you had, I know, she gave me the bell. I promise I won't
hate
do
the
it.
bell. I hate it. I allowed it just for her. Okay, continue.
So when you were on Piers Morgan's show.
Yes.
Okay. So I love the fact that you said, reach out to those people. And there's so many people within your network that you're not even talking to on a daily basis.
Yes.
Even friends on Facebook.
Yes.
Like they're friends for a reason. You are supposed to engage with them.
Yes.
Right. And reach out.
I think, it's very interesting, and you know this because you're a business owner, and I have recently gone into the entrepreneurial space. It becomes incredibly isolating. Yeah. I work from home, and first of all, me being by myself for long periods of time is pretty much like a prison sentence, and so I have to have people to talk to constantly, but it becomes extremely isolating, and people that you talk to all the time, they suddenly don't know your phone number. They suddenly don't know that you exist in the world. And why? Mm-hmm. Why does that happen? And I think that happens in business, but I think it happens in dating too. Right,
because what if you didn't talk to a client? That client's going to find somebody else to talk to. Same in dating. If you don't communicate with someone you like, chances are they're going to get scooped up.
Right. Well, I mean, and it's if your girl, for example, if all of your girlfriends are out dating people and out trying to, live their life and become not single. Right. They suddenly kind of forget about their single friend over here. I mean, that happens all the time. We all have had that friend or been that friend where we're in a relationship, we disappear. When we're not in a relationship, we come back on the scene. But there's that time in between where we have to communicate.
I think you are into a very, very interesting thing that I wish most people, and because I always hear this, like, I wish I spent more time with my friends and not all the time with my significant other. Right. And I think if you're not spending time away from your person with your girlfriends, you start to lose part of you. You still, I mean, you're two individual people. Yeah. Right. And that you want to be able to, meet at, the middle and say, okay, let's go rock this and build a freaking empire. Right. I mean, that's my goal.
I think a lot of people, to go on this tangent, I think a lot of people go into relationships and they want to be like Siamese twins.
Yeah, no.
But I've also gotten to a point in my life where I've been alone for a hot minute.
Like, I need my space.
Right. For those out in the viewing public, I have not been in a steady, committed relationship in 5 years. Yes, that is on record. But I've gotten into a space where I like my life and I like my things.
You like you. I mean,
and I like me. Yeah. Everyone knows how much I like me. No. But
you should love you. You gotta look in that mirror. Here's a tweetable moment. Tell yourself you love yourself every morning.
Look, there is a thin line between having a good self-esteem
Right.
and narcissism. And
Absolutely.
I want to be very clear that women like us who have businesses that we're trying to grow, networks that we're trying to grow,
Yeah.
what we're doing is not narcissism. What we're doing is not, hey, look at me, check me out. It is, but it is in a business sense.
Well, we're trying to give good content back to people.
Right.
I mean, we're subject matter experts in our fields.
Right.
We're not just helping, because, hey, they don't, maybe a lot, Ted doesn't know us in Wyoming,
Right.
but now he does. Now he gets some.
Let's be real, everybody in Wyoming knows me. But
I know. I'm just saying. Just say.
But there is a very thin line. A lot of people, I often hear people, oh, if you post so many selfies, you're a narcissist.
Oh.
Well, not everyone who posts selfies is a narcissist. I post selfies all the time, but it's really not narcissism. I am my brand.
Yes.
When people look at my Instagram account, they need to understand that I understand brand and the power of brand.
Well, and it's
I
also
am my
a
brand.
business.
And it's a business.
Yes.
And so
That's crazy. Whoever's saying that, you need to go sit
you
down.
need to get off yourself. And,
Yeah.
And but yes, going back to the root topic, which was, talking and communicating and having that network of people that you can pull of, that was the reason that the Dating Advisory Board was created.
Right.
And so tell those out there who are not in the know about the people who are involved, the individual
Right.
people, and what they would bring to a client who walked theoretically
Right.
through your
Yeah.
doors.
Right. So, the people I have on my board, right, those are my advisors.
Right.
And we're teaching you, like I said, it's coming up, how to build your own personal advisory boards.
Right.
Because I think it's so important. And I go back to this is number one thing, look at who you are surrounding yourself with.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
If you're surrounded by toxic people, get out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And, you got that toxic, uncle, or I don't even know. It could be a family member. It could not be. I don't know.
Sometimes it's a family member.
Sometimes they could get on you about stuff, but
Not my family. Love you.
no. But what I'm saying is, because they maybe don't have the right intentions, or
Right. Yeah.
they don't know how it is like these days with social media
Yes.
and how things are run.
Yes.
It's not the old days. You don't have just a 9-to-5 job anymore. If
Right.
if you're making money for other people, why can't you make it for yourself?
Exactly.
Right. You're
Yes.
trying to
Yes.
build you.
Yes.
So, when you look at it, I look at, okay, surround yourself with those positive people. Look at your 5 people that you spend the most time with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how do they make you feel? Right. If you're like, wow, like I know my core, and I know, like, when I'm around them, like I get so excited because they
Right.
have really good energy, and they're all wanting everyone else to succeed.
Right.
Right. That's the whole point. It's, it's collaboration, not competition.
Right.
For, and being just aware of yourself, I think is a big deal.
Well, that's a whole other
Right.
item right there.
You go back to me 4 years ago. It's a completely ghost of a shell of a person. If you look at pictures of me 4 years ago versus today, they're like, that's not even the same person.
Right.
Right? You could just see it's just empty. But
Right.
it's because you have to figure out, okay, I took a long time and looked at myself and said, okay, you need to do some work, sister.
Right.
Right. On
Yep.
you first.
Right.
Because you can't go into a relationship not being the best version of yourself, or at least having a conversation with yourself.
So I had this conversation just last night with somebody, and my biggest pet peeve is when I hear people when they're about to get married and they're like, this person completes me. And I'm like, bitch, you better come complete when you get married. you better be complete when you hit that altar, because he will not complete you. He will not. And anyway, and if you're looking for him to complete you, that's a marriage I guarantee you they have an ice sculpture at the wedding reception. It's going down.
Yeah. That's not, yeah.
You have to, you're hitting on some points that are just so important, not only in business but in branding. Like, you have to know who you are.
You're marrying your brand.
Right. You can't brand what you don't know.
Right.
And if you don't know you and you haven't thought out who am I? Where do I want this to go? It's going to be like Buffalo off a cliff. It's going to be a rough go.
That.
And so it's important that you self-evaluation is huge.
Yeah.
Like,
Know your core non-negotiables. Think about
Right.
in your 20s, were you writing your core non-negotiables?
I assure you I was not.
I wasn't
I was
either.
very concerned about what was the next thing at Forever 21. So
Yeah. Contempo Casuals was on point.
Oh, Contempo Casuals. Man, Contempo Casuals.
Oh, God.
That's
I
a
love that place.
throwback.
I know.
Did they still exist?
No, girl, they were done in the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, I loved Contempo
I know, me
Casuals.
too.
My cousin always used to have stuff from Contempo Casuals, and I
Yeah.
was always like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
But yes, that the core people that you surround yourself. So talk a little bit before we head into the break.
Sure.
Who are you don't have to name them if you don't want to, but what are the characteristics of the core people that you keep around
Yeah.
you?
Well, I think the other thing is that it's just like effort, and if someone is reaching out to you, right? Like I was
Yep.
just talking about earlier, and
Yep.
they're genuinely like, oh, what's going on with you? Like, how are things? And then you have those other friends that they don't contact you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But then they come back and it's like, no, it's fine. I mean, you have friends in different levels of relationships.
Yes.
So, it doesn't matter that you don't like one over the other. It's just you may be more compatible.
Right.
When you're talking about certain situations.
Right.
Because maybe they've been there.
Right.
So they can say, not to say that you don't love them any less.
Right.
No, but at the same time, if you're looking at, there's the 5 people that I surround myself with, we're all basically going the same way. Like
Right.
we have very similar goals and we're doing very similar things.
Right.
So it's really, really good. And they're, like I said, they're subject matter experts in their field. And, say like, okay, I was having an issue, like I was trying to get this Canva done. Right?
Okay.
Like, so like,
Yeah.
And so I said, or in sponsorship, it was sponsorships. And I asked them, I said, do you have anything? They're like, oh yeah, I already have it here. Just use mine and just, change it. Here's some ideas.
Right.
Stuff like that. Just in business. I mean, these are also friends too, but they're very,
Right.
very, very, very successful in their business.
Well, I come to find, like, when I think about especially the women that are closest to me in my life, we could not be in more different fields.
Right.
Just thinking of my core group of girlfriends. I mean, one is in intellectual property, one is in ticketing, one is an energy attorney. I mean, the 4 of us could not be more different. And a couple of them are super into crafting. The other 2 of us, it's store bought all the way. But the reason that these women are my core is because they're no bullshit. There's no I hope you fail so that I can succeed.
Absolutely. There's no room in the
I don't
dating
support-
advisory board
Right.
for
Right.
anything like that.
Right. There is no cattiness. There's no
No.
backbiting. There's no I'm going to hold you back so that I succeed.
Right.
And that's really important. And that's something that I think a lot of women we pay lip service to, that we're not that girl. We're not a mean girl. But it's still happening, which I think is a very interesting topic. But we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Jen's personal brand, but then we're going to start migrating back into the dating advisory board and its ins and outs. And then of course, social media, which is my favorite topic. So stay right there. I need to fill up on my rosé, but we will be back in just 1 second. Stay tuned. Dad, I can't read my text right now. This phone is not even in my hand. And welcome back. I am Frances Reimers. Welcome back to Let's Talk Personal. I needed a refill. I hope that you got a refill. It's very warm in here, per usual.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to join the conversation, of course, you can text like my dad does, or you can go to Twitter at LTP Brand Radio, or on Instagram at Let's Talk Personal, or you can shoot me a message on Twitter at Your Firestarter, or Instagram at Firestarter CEO. Man, this is hard rowing today.
So it's a little hot.
It's hot.
I
got a lot going on today.
I know.
I mean, it's a busy day.
It's busy.
So before we went into the break, we were talking about the Dating Advisory Board, why Jen formed it, why it's so important. But I want to turn the table back to you specifically, Jen.
Sure.
So your brand, your personal brand has taken a bit of an evolution.
Yeah.
I mean, because you went from kind of a professional service provider to now a curator of professional service providers. But your brand has also, I mean, you alluded to it a little bit prior, that if you looked at pictures of yourself a couple of years ago and now, night and day.
Right.
So talk about the evolution of your personal brand a little bit, and strategic decisions that you have made for you.
That's a great question. I mean, geez,
you know,
just good
one of the days these networks are going to pick me up.
They will. No, I think you know, when you look back, and like I said, I just had to do a lot of self-reflection.
Yeah.
And I wasn't the best version of myself. Like, I couldn't look at myself in the mirror and be like, "Oh, everything's great." No, it wasn't. Like, I mean, mentally, like, I was just, you know, drained. I was just mentally drained and physically drained, and I wasn't feeling my best. I mean, I'm an athlete. I was 24 in the country in tennis.
Right.
You know, and I wasn't doing what I should be doing, and not working out the way I should have been working out, eating the way I should have been eating, and really, and I was just wearing myself out.
Okay.
Right. And I wasn't getting enough sleep. So I ended up saying, okay. Right. Like I talk about, like, building communication infrastructures in my business, and filling the holes where the holes need to be. Mm-hmm. Right. So, for instance, because this ties back in. So, you know, for us, when you go into a company, you're not just looking at a communications infrastructure.
Right.
You're looking at how they run their business.
Right.
Because you may have subject matter experts that could help them. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, we can sell you phones. You don't have a PPC SEO company to make those phones ring.
Right.
Then, I mean, I can't. It's not really going to do.
It doesn't matter.
It's not going to work.
Right.
Tandem. It's not going to run as a successful business.
Right.
Right. So I knew, okay, I've got to get every point in my life on point to do what I wanted to do. Right. I mean, I knew that I wanted to do this. Mm-hmm. Right. I knew that I wanted to create this company and give back, and I wanted to figure out, because I knew there was other people out there like me that was just struggling and wanting the information, and just having a centralized location that you can go in there and find it.
Right.
So, so then I had a health coach, right? Got my health coach back, and how to eat better, and immediately I'm like, whoa, I got energy. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, just the blood started to come back into my veins.
I'm alive.
No, but I think the big thing is who you surround yourself with. You know, and because I went back and I'm like, all right, so where did I, you know, get off my path? You know, it wasn't staying in my lane. Right. I mean, I'm very visual. I visualize all the time. I mean, as athletes, I've had a trainer since I was 8 years old. Right. I had different coaches. That's why it's so important to have a coach in your life. You have to be a coachable person. Yeah. Right. With mentors and coachable. Yes. Because think if you go around and say, you know what, I'm good. I know everything. Right. And you can't help me. You gotta be like, okay, well, you're a train wreck. Mean, you know, you're a hot mess. You're a hot mess already. But to think about that, so I had, you know, serve and volley coach, because my dad was looking to see, okay, where could she improve? Like, it was a forehand, backhand, right? And she was specific in hiring people for, like, you know, mental strategy coach, right? So, like, I had from a very early age, I was very lucky to have that kind of environment to give me the skill set that I realized would help me later in life, right? Clearly the strategy. But, you know, you think about it. So if you're surrounding yourself with positive people, you're going to be in a positive place. If you're surrounding yourself with negative people saying, why are you doing that? Like, what are you doing? You know, I had it. I had it with the dating advisory board. They're like, what are you doing? Like, what? What is like, this? Why? Like, I don't get it. Like, you're dating. Like, blah. And so I just said, sit down. And wait and see.
Sit down. So you talked a little bit about having a health coach and making these strategic steps. When did you say, okay, I'm gonna cut my hair. I'm gonna dye my hair. I'm gonna take pictures. I'm gonna do these things, because I think these, you know, I was in the background watching this evolution. Like
Right.
I knew you before this came along, and I was kind of in the wings watching this evolution take place. And there was very key moments where it was like, oh, well, the hair is dyed and cut now. Oh, well, these pictures are coming out. So, and I think this is very important information for women or men who are like, I want to pivot big time in my life.
Right.
And what did you do? Who did you reach out to? Who
Yeah.
did you talk to? Like, you know, because these are all very fundamental pieces of brand development. And how was that for you? Was it just happenstance, or were these strategic
No, I went
decisions?
back. I went back. So what I was saying is I went back when I got veered off my lane. I didn't
Yep.
stay in the lane that I was supposed to be in.
Right.
And but I'm back. But well, it took me a minute. And I'm back. And so I went back and looked at who I surrounded myself with.
Yeah.
Before the negative Nancy train came into town. And so it's true.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's bad out there.
It's bad out there.
And so I look at it and I say, okay, so I got to get back in touch. I mean, I was still friends with these people,
Yeah.
you know, but I was still friends, but I wasn't
Yeah.
spending time with them. And then I was listening to very inspiring, like I'll get shout out to Avon Eka, who, when he was doing his Periscopes,
Yeah.
it was right during that time where I just, you know, you just hear all these negative things said about you, and like
Yes.
it gets into your head.
Right.
And I thought to myself, no more.
Yeah.
Right. And it helped hearing that daily kind of like, let's go pep talk, just like
Yeah.
how I had in sports, right?
Yeah.
That's why do you think the athletes, their coaches give them pep talks before games?
Yep.
And it's just like how you get a pep talk in the morning and you're good to go for the day.
Yeah.
Right. How you state your
Daily
you
affirmation.
start your day. Yeah.
How you start your day is how you finish your day.
Yeah. And
Just like, you know, in business, how you start a relationship with a client is most often how you finish it.
Right.
And so it's very important to start your day with positivity and
Right.
surround yourself.
Because when you're not, and like, so then I got her back around. So I met with my, one of my best friends since I've been here.
Right.
I'll shout out to Molly, and who, when I first moved to DC, she was one of my first friends, and we were writing together, and we were
Right.
like in both the one like poetry stuff, and
Right.
but I stopped doing it.
Right.
Right. And so I have all this poetry and I have all these books and screenplays and that's what I really love to do.
Right.
And so I thought to myself, all right, I need to go back because she will tell me how it is. She
Right.
will come correct.
Right.
And she did.
But you need, I think everybody needs that, and especially strong type A women like us.
Yeah.
Everyone needs people in their life that are like, why aren't you writing poetry anymore? Or in my case, why aren't you singing and dancing anymore? These are things you love to do. Why aren't you doing them?
Right.
Because I think often when we're on a path to something,
Trajectory.
we push away all other things. But if you're not doing things that enrich you, if you're not doing something, like I gave an interview for a magazine article the other day, and one of the questions they asked me is, what gets you out of bed in the morning? What is your passion? And it couldn't be work. They were like, it can't be your company. It cannot be your job. What gets you out of bed in the morning? And I was like, well, besides the urge to pee,
Yeah.
I mean,
Bladder's a factor.
Bladder's a huge factor in this early morning hours. But, I really had to sit there for a second and think about it. And I did have a little bit of I answered the question. I felt like I answered it pretty well, but I was like, it should not take me that long to talk about what personally enriches me. And so it's so important to, if you lift weights or
Yeah.
you like to dance or sing or photography or whatever it is, do not abandon your personal passions.
Yeah.
Because even though it's not going to possibly lead to income,
Right.
you have to enrich yourself.
Yeah. And there's always a way you could, if you're starting a business, there are ways to monetize it.
Yeah, you can monetize
Like,
anything.
Right. I mean, it's just a matter of how you do it. But yeah, I mean, I think it's really important because, I always go back. I was telling you before the show, The Last Mile.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes,
I'll tell
yes.
the story because this is a funny story.
Yes.
So being an athlete from Michigan, I'm from the Midwest, and I had a big, huge tennis tournament that was coming. All scouts were coming from all over, and we're qualifying for the national tournament. So I, obviously had to get ready. Well, Michigan summer is brutal. I mean,
Yes,
you're talking
so hot,
90
so hot.
plus humidity.
Yes.
And add the fun factor of 10 degrees on the tennis court
Right.
for the asphalt. Because it's awesome. So it's 8 hours.
pleasant,
No,
not pleasant.
so my dad picks me up and I'm done. Like I get in the car and the air conditioning's on my face and I'm out.
Right.
And I feel let's go down this dirt road. I'm like, what? I'm like, this is not 7-Eleven. Like,
Right.
I want my Butterfinger dipped in a Coke Slurpee. True story. And sure enough, he's like, get out. I said, you're crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not getting out.
This is child abuse.
Yeah. And he's like, and I said, what do you want me to do? And he goes, you're going to run the last mile home. And I said, no, I am not. Check the seatbelt. It's good. We're secure. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. He's like, out. And I said, do you hear that? The wild animal kingdom? There were wild pheasants out there, rabid squirrels, and I'm pretty sure the birds.
Rabid squirrels?
Yeah, they were coming for my tendon, Achilles tendon. Absolutely, both of them. They were. I mean, and the birds, they were doing aerial assault attacks. I mean, I'm serious.
So this was not a Snow White scenario.
No, I mean, it was fine. No, but I did it. But the whole point of it was a bit of a metaphor for my life. He knew I had more to give.
Yeah.
It was he's trying to say, and he's hilarious. I love my dad. He wasn't like mean about it, but he's funny. Well, I mean, but he was trying to train me. He knew I had more to give.
Right.
Right. He knew I could push
Yes.
myself a little bit harder when I
He's
couldn't.
teaching you to give a little bit more, do a little bit better.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so, when you look in that moment, I remember when I was like, looking at the shell of a person I was.
Right.
And I said, what would your 16-year-old self say who was running that last mile?
Yep.
She worked her ass off.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Right.
You're going to sit here in negative Nancy town with the rest of the jackwagons?
Well, like, when you talk about negativity, and I think it's easy, especially at our age and living here and what we're surrounded. It's easy to get negative because we compare ourselves to others. And we look in the mirror and we don't see what we see in others. And how did you rein that in and keep yourself focused and staying in your lane?
Yeah.
Because there was a lot coming at you. How did you?
That's an understatement. Anyway, so I had to like really focus on my goal, like right. So you always think about, like I talked about strategy in
Yes.
tennis.
Yes.
So I had mental strategy coaches, like
Right.
okay, we're gonna do like 1 down the line, 3 cross court volley, and you're
Right.
done, like
Right.
game over. So I always knew, like, so when he had me run that last mile, I couldn't see it.
Right.
I couldn't see my house,
Right.
but I knew it was there.
Right. Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's just like in life, if you put it out there, and I'm a firm believer in this, if you say, I'm going to have my show syndicated, and this is what's going to happen, and here are my goals, and whiteboard it out.
Yeah.
Right?
It happens.
It happens.
Yeah.
Because
action breeds action.
Thank you. And it's just one small thing a day to get you moving. Like some people are like, I can't do it. I can't do it. There's no way. And you're just like, no, just one step. Write 5 things that you need to get done for the day. I mean, I have 20 on my list. I'm
Right.
not going to get to 20, so I take
No.
5 that I know that I can get done.
Right.
That are the most important.
Right.
And then if I get the 5 done, then I take another 5.
Right.
And I take another 5.
Right.
And so, just being organized. I mean, that's the most thing. I mean, things can't work in tandem if you are not organized. And
No.
you don't write your list. I mean, that's a Virgo in me. I like my list. I do. Well, it keeps me on point. I mean, I got so much stuff going on.
Yes.
So
Yes,
I have
you do.
to.
Yes. So we're going to take a break, and when we get back from the break, we are going to talk about tribing.
Yes.
And
Tribing.
why it is important. I turned it into a verb.
I like it.
We're going to talk about why it is important that you have a tribe and what that is and how you form one and what's great about it. And then we will get into my favorite part of the show always, which is social media and the off-color portion of the show. So stick with us. We will be right back.
Awesome.
And welcome back to Let's Talk Personal. I'm your host, Frances Reimers. If you would like to join in on the conversation, and we hope you do, you can find us on Twitter at LTP Brand Radio and on Instagram at Let's Talk Personal. If you'd like to talk to me personally, and I hope you do, you can do so on Twitter at Your Firestarter and on Instagram at Firestarter CEO. So before we left for the break, we were talking about your personal brand, but one of the major things about the Dating Advisory Board is about building a tribe.
Yes.
And let's talk about why that matters and how this differentiates between just having a group of good friends.
Right. Well, there's also what you guys can join. It's Let's Get It Together Sisters. So it's a group, right?
And brothers, if they want to.
If they want to, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. And I had somebody say, what a great dating way to beat women. I said, don't even. If y'all start going on there and saying stuff, I'm going to block you.
We'll talk about how people use inappropriate means.
Yeah.
We'll parking lot that.
We'll parking lot
continue.
No, that's fine. No, but I put it together, and so when I relaunched the website, I thought, okay, it would be good to have, because like I said, there's people all over the country, and even in Canada, and I'm sure there's actually, I think one's from Australia.
Okay.
And so there are people all over the world, so we post inspiring things to help, right? I was talking about listening to inspiring people, but we're also having them say, okay, this is good, this helped me. Right. And then it would help them as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So
great.
Gets their day started right, and it's just about building your tribe of positive people. And if you have positive stuff coming up on your feed, and not negative, like some of the stuff I see,
people they're negative. They're negative.
I unfollow. Like
I mute people
or whatever. Yeah,
I mute
whatever.
Them.
Yeah.
I mute them. I mute negative people because I don't want to see it.
I don't want to see that kind of stuff.
I don't want to see if you're not supporting me, if you're not or saying positive things. You gotta go. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. And so, if you are out in Middle America, you're in Kansas, Nebraska, out in Middle America, and you're building your tribe,
right?
What are, besides positivity, what are other characteristics that you should be looking for in people in your inner circle?
I think what you touched on also, number one being authentic.
Yeah.
Right? You have to find authenticity, because you don't want to tell somebody, here's what I really want to do, and then they're going behind your back telling Sally, oh, well, that's stupid.
Right.
Right?
Or stealing your ideas.
Oh my God. I would.
Yeah. That happened.
Stop it.
So I had a guy ask for a proposal, a Firestarter proposal. I gave him a proposal, and he started his own company with my proposal.
Stop it.
Using similar language and everything.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's bad karma.
And he's a friend of a friend, which makes it incredibly awkward.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's like, what are you doing?
Oh, God.
Anyway, we digress.
I know we digress. No, but when you're looking at that, we want to look at one, being authentic.
Yes.
Right? And you have to, like I said, it's very important that you know yourself.
Yes.
Because, and, the other thing is you want to look for those people who are not afraid to tell you the truth.
Yes.
Not sugarcoat, like, everything's fine. No, it's not fine. Because I am like right here in the trenches. Yeah. Everything's not fine.
Yeah.
Right?
I know. You know better.
You know better.
Yes.
Like, it goes back to coaching. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? How can I help improve those weaknesses? Right. Everybody has mentors. There are mentors out there everywhere. If you're looking to be in, different, like, say you want to do, like, you're knitting, right? You want to start this really cool how to knit. Well, you need to look at those subject matter experts who are doing it and seeing how, like, okay, well, is there something that I could relate to me? You're not stealing an idea,
right?
But, like, look at how they're
doing their thing.
They're doing their thing, and just say, okay, well, if I do, because right now, this you can do so much with your iPhone.
Yes, most of my business is right from my iPhone.
Yes. Right here, you can do a movie is 4K on these iPhones.
They're just as good.
Right, so you can start YouTube a show about knitting and just be hyper focused and look at marketing and because I always say knowledge is power.
Yes.
Okay, you don't have to be like before the Dating Advisory Board. I've never been on camera.
Right.
Never was even taught how to be on camera. Right. No one was ever taught me how to write questions. No one told me how to produce anything. I just figured it out.
Yeah.
You look at it and because you're learning, okay, well, they're doing it this way. That's not really me, but like, hey, they're asking very interesting questions that I know that I would want to know.
Yeah.
So you want to ask similar questions when you're looking to build your tribe. Here's
Yes.
what I'm doing. Because people confide in certain people, right?
Yeah.
Certain things.
Yeah.
Right. And so you just have to be very careful that you're just trying to better yourself at the bottom line.
Right.
Right.
And who in your circle of friends is really going to help you better yourself. And those who are naysayers and the reality is that at least I have found in my life is people who are not in your corner. It's their insecurity. It's not that what you're doing is wrong or not a good idea or isn't feasible. It's usually their bag that they're projecting onto you.
And I think knew some of the things I've been called. I mean, you do know some.
Well,
of them.
Yes, I do.
You do know some of them.
I do know.
And that's the thing to me is like I'm like, oh, it's so sad that you're so insecure. Like God forbid that like someone else's light shines like brighter than yours and you're upset about it.
Yeah.
Like all my friends are successful.
Yes.
And I'm happy for them. I'm
Yes.
not like, oh man, like no, like it's just ridiculous.
How'd that go again? No, but this is a very real thing.
No, it is.
And people who are like, I'm going to tell you your idea is crap because I just don't want you to succeed.
Right. And I just don't want you to do it because I'm too afraid to do what I should be doing.
Right. And the thing is that people need to get, first of all, we're too old for that shit.
Right,
And
that's
so
time.
we stop doing that. And if you're snarky hanging out in the background being like, she's going to fail, which one person said about me, and you know who you are. And,
okay.
but you know what? I'm sorry that you hate your life and you're not happy as a person and you project that onto me, but I'm not going to fail. And I'm on camera, so clearly I'm winning at life.
No, but you know what? You actually bring up a really good point. When those, I think, not to say that, having a bully is a positive thing.
Right.
But like for me, I take it and I use that energy and I turn it into a positive.
Yes.
So like when I
Yes.
get that, I'm like, ooh, I'm doing something someone doesn't
Yes.
like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm winning.
Yes.
Right? Jacob, And I thought
Right.
to myself, oh, I'm onto something. I'm like,
Absolutely. Actually, earlier today,
Yeah.
I heard some random rap song. Not that I'm a huge rap connoisseur, but I heard some rap song on the radio, and it was talking about I love haters because they make me better.
Yes.
And it's true.
They give me they fuel my fire.
Well, the
Yeah,
second
it's
people the second people are talking about how they don't like what you're doing, you're on the right track because usually people will not take the time to reach out and be like, that's great.
Yeah.
But they'll reach out to be like, that sucks.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Like, you
why
just
are you
need to
doing
do
that?
X, Y, and Z. Why? So I can make someone else millions of dollars?
Exactly.
I'm done with that.
You
Yeah.
have no idea how many people reached out to me when I left my former agency, when I announced that I was starting Firestarter, www.yourfirestarter.com. That when I was starting this company, that people were like, why?
Oh, yeah.
Why would you do that?
Same
like
thing.
What?
Yeah.
You're not going to succeed. You don't have any clients. You have no resources. I was like, well, this is the state of affairs and I've made this decision and this is where we're going. So you can either get on the train or step out of the way. And those people are no longer part of my life because if your knee-jerk reaction is why are you doing something? Right. Unless I'm sticking needles in my arm or,
that's not attractive.
Entering into the white slave trade, shut up. Let me do my thing and support me in my journey.
It's interesting because, people are like, well, do you still work at Bencom? And I'm like, yeah, you can't.
And?
I said, you can't have a dating advisory board without working in business. That's how it works.
You're like, I'm not just going to sit at the house all day and twiddle my thumbs.
Like, I'm good. People, I'm just like, talk about strategy. Like, my stuff's a well-oiled machine. I've put systems into place.
Yeah, you've been doing a hot minute.
12 and a half years, honey. It runs by itself.
You know how to sell some IT, some comm systems.
I do. I can sling phones, babe.
Yeah, sling phones. You should have some sort of graphic where you're like slinging
that
phones.
shit. Yeah, I know.
So I want to get to our favorite topic, which is social media and inappropriate uses of social media. This is our favorite topic. We've talked about it multiple times on multiple shows, and it's part of the reason that the Dating Advisory Board exists is because people do not know the proper use of social media. So starting off, whose brand gives you life? Whose brand is giving you life right now?
I mean, obviously Gary Vaynerchuk. I mean, he's like the media mogul. I mean,
yeah.
I'll say this: when I was watching, I mean, I watch all of his stuff, and because it's just inspiring, because he just says it how it is.
Yes.
And I like the fact that he likes sports, because you're coming from a marketing sports, and he wants to buy the Jets and the whole thing. But
he does. I didn't hear that. Oh, interesting.
Oh, that's his whole thing. He's going to buy the Jets, and he will.
Have at it,
he's
buddy.
put at it. He's put it out, and I mean, it will happen. I mean, he built Vayner Media is so big, it's huge. It's huge, and
it's bigly.
It's bigly. So anyway, and I digress. But no, he's just awesome. Like, he had this one video that really was, instrumental or part of saying, like, you don't want to be living in regret. You don't want to be like 90 years old and look back and be like, hey, if I would have just tried a little bit harder.
Yes.
And he talks about patience, because I think, us being type A people, like, we want everything right now. We want to, we just built this company, and he's like, you just got to put in the work. You got to put in the time.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is and he's saying, I saw something come up last night, and he said, like, all these people that they're DMing me or emailing me, and they're saying, like, this is, sucks, and I can't do this. And he's like, stop complaining.
Yes.
Right? You don't complain. And number one, why are you emailing Gary Vaynerchuk and complaining about
Yeah,
your life?
he
You
doesn't
know
hear
he's
that shit.
gonna, like, he doesn't have time for
He
it.
doesn't want to hear that from you.
No.
Yeah.
But I just love it. And I would just listen to his podcast. And I mean, there's not one time, not one podcast, not one audio, not one video that I didn't walk away with something.
Right. No,
Right?
he's king, and he's stellar with content. He constantly finds new ways to find innovative content. I enjoy him as well. He's good. But what is a social media trend that you wish would stop?
The number, every single day, there's a different hashtag on Twitter.
Well, hey now.
No, I love it. I'm just saying, I'm like, oh God, now I got to go, like, find a picture of a donut in a weird place and try to, like, make a funny thing with it, and, like, how to make it relevant. And so now I'm spending my days like, okay, Twitter, what's going to be today? Like, what am I going to have to do?
It's tough to keep up on the graphic design needs of the social media world.
I mean,
like,
it's true.
I do this for clients. It's like not only for myself, I have to do this for clients as well. So yes, I spend a good hour of my morning every morning creating graphics for clients that go on their social media feeds to respond to whatever is happening. I eat up a huge amount of data, but that's we have to love it. If you hate it, you also have to love it, because that's the revolving nature of social media, and that's what keep people engaged. Start your own hashtag.
Yeah.
For Dating Advisory Board.
Oh, we have it.
Well, no, but something like that trends.
Yeah, I know.
You need to, like, Jimmy Fallon
dab.
trend. Let's dab. Let's dab.
Let's date the Dating Advisory Board.
Oh my God, you should have people send in videos of them dabbing.
Oh yeah, I got my kids dabbing all day. I just dab all the time. I mean, they break out in song on the daily basis, all the time.
Well, everyone loves cute kids.
I mean, they're funny.
It's a seller.
I mean, the Despacito video of my son.
Oh my Jesus, Despacito.
Oh yeah, I mean, he has some. I mean, I said, okay. I said, well, someone please get him an agent. Seriously, like,
Daddy Yankee has an agent.
who?
The guy who sings Despacito, Daddy Yankee,
really?
has an agent. Yes.
There you go.
What? Oh my God.
I mean, all right.
No, that song is ridiculous. I mean, even some of my clients that are well out of the age demographic that should be liking that song.
I like it.
I love Despacito. I love that song. Do you know what the lyrics say?
I can't remember. I used to speak fluent Spanish, but I kind of
The
forgot.
song is banned in Malaysia.
What?
Because of the lyrics. Like, the state government of Malaysia was like, everyone loves this song. We should look into what the lyrics actually mean. And they translated, and the state government of Malaysia, I mean, you can Google this, was like,
oh, I want to Google it later. You know me and my recon.
Yeah, they were like, nope, banned. The song
You're
is
done.
banned in Malaysia. But if you read the lyrics, I mean, it is not family friendly. It's
Not
a little
friendly family.
It's a little dirty, but it's a great song.
I know.
And just put on my marketing hat for a little bit. If you as a business owner, or if you as a corporation have not drank the Kool-Aid that the growing Latino market is not a real thing, think again.
Yeah.
Think again. If you have a product or service and you are not providing that in English and in Spanish. I don't care if you live in DC, New York, or Cheyenne, Wyoming. If you are not providing dual language advertising, dual language services, think again. It is the fastest growing.
Very, very good point.
It's the fastest growing market. I watch Telemundo for an hour every single day while I run on the treadmill. And the number one reason that I watch it is because I want to see how companies and individuals are branding themselves on Telemundo, because it is the fastest growing market in the United States. And there is showing no, despite Trump's best efforts, there's no signs of stopping. And if you really want my thoughts on the destination of marketing and branding in this country, it is the Latin market. And so
there you go. You got to reach out to Frances. She will give you the demographics and tell you where you should be. She is serious.
This is what I read in my spare time.
Yeah.
Well, because
and running, and when she's on the treadmill,
I'm watching while I'm running.
She is working.
My
while
brother
she's
would
running.
just be so proud that I'm running. No, this is very serious, because people come to me and they want to know about brand.
Right.
When you're thinking about your personal brand, it's not just the market that you're in now, but markets that you want to expand to. And I can't help you if I don't have the information on the markets that are outside of your own. But that song just is a clear indicator, and its popularity is a clear indicator of where we're heading as a country in terms of pop culture. Speaking of that, who is an athlete or a celebrity that you think is producing great content?
Well, I'm going to still say it's Gary Vee.
I love him.
Well, no, because
You're
I'm just
in
saying.
fan club.
Well, because look, he is really good at identifying trends.
Yeah.
I mean, you
really
listen to
is.
him, and he says AI is a big coming out. I mean, you just got to listen to him. I mean, because and just mirror that.
Yes. Yes.
Like if Gary Vee is putting out video and on audiobook and he's doing all that, if you're trying to get your brand out, that's what you need to be doing.
Yes. I mean, he was spot on several years ago when he said that video is going to take over social media. I mean, it absolutely has. 75% of all content on social media currently is video based. Right. The future is going to be virtual reality. Yep. And so if you're not up to date on that.
VR,
I mean, that's virtual reality is going to be the next phase. So if you don't know what that is, you got to get if you're a real estate agent, an attorney, a property construction, you need to be in virtual reality. That is the next step. So you're absolutely right. He is always one
step ahead. So just pay attention
to
the game changers.
So who is your social media crush? I know this answer, but I want you to say.
Okay, so I kind of have two. Like, because, you talked about celebrities. So I always say Chris Pine, because he's just smoking hot. I mean, he like serenades women. Did you know that?
Does he?
Uh-huh. I mean, he can dance. He can
good
sing,
for him.
And he's
good for him.
Smoking hot. And he's funny. At least it is on film. But anyway, I don't know him personally. I'm just saying. But
I was going to say, I don't know. I mean, how biblical
is
your
relationship
I don't
with
even
this
guy?
No, I don't even know. But I'll say, when you talk about Instagram, right? My Instagram crush, I would say Brock O'Hearn.
I don't know who that is.
You'll thank me. Just go ahead.
Is he a model, an actor?
I'm just going to let you
just figure it out. No, I don't know. Don't know. I'm gonna look it up on the train here after the show.
2.7 million followers. I mean,
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how he came across the feed. I just, was on, Instagram or whatever, and I was like dying. Just saying.
How's you doing?
What's your name again?
And so we have just literally 1 minute left, but we always have to talk about this, the inappropriate use of social media for dating purposes. Yeah. I actually have a recent story. Just last week, somebody reached out on LinkedIn, and I'm like, it's not a dating site.
No, it's professional network.
It's a
people.
professional network. Yeah. So we need, I think, because we have talked about this multiple times, I think we need to come up with an alternative for people to help them if they're thinking about going down a business avenue to get dates. Yeah, we need to find another way.
It's just like in business. Think about it. Like if you're trying to get a client, right?
Yes.
Do your research on said client. Just like in the dating world, everybody does their research. If they try to say they don't, they're lying.
Right. Yeah, everyone's cyber stalks.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
They probably know more than they do going into the date now with everything.
Yes.
I'm serious. Yes. It's crazy.
Well, whenever you snoop, you always find stuff you don't want to know about somebody.
Right.
Always.
Exactly. But no, I would just say that if you're trying to go for that target person, right, you should 100% comment, say, okay, well, let me find out more about them. Like, what do they like? Or am this person even going to be compatible with me? I mean, you can figure all that out on there, but at least the majority of stuff, because most people look at Instagram, right? And if they can find you, some have weird names and you wouldn't know, but if for the most part, no. But you can tell what you like to do and like about your personality, just like you do when you're putting dating profile pictures up. They should be specific to your personality.
Yes.
And smile, please, people.
And not wear sunglasses.
At least not in the first picture.
Yeah.
Like if you're outside and
or put
sunny.
a team logo. I've never understood this.
Yeah.
Really? You think you're going to find lifelong happiness when you put up a Bears logo in your Tinder pro? I'm like, what is this?
I don't know,
oh my God. So folks at home, if you want to learn more about Jen and you want to hear more about what's going on in the Dating Advisory Board, hang on the line. She is actually, her show is right after mine, so you will be seeing her for another hour here in a second, but I must depart from you. We've run out of time for today, but I appreciate you always.
Thank you so much. We always have such a great time.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. So much fun,
and
I really enjoyed drinking some. I'm going to pass out on the train like nobody's business.
I'm out.
Thank you for joining in. As always, please send in your emails, which you really do, and connect with us on Twitter at LTP Brand Radio, on Instagram at Let's Talk Personal. Tune in next week when I have comedian Rob Mayer on it. So that is going to be hilarious because there will be not a lot serious being said. I'd like to thank my sponsors, Co-Create and Columbia Lighthouse for the Blind. If you'd like to watch this show or previous shows, go to www.letstalkpersonal.com and you can see the whole library of all of my shows. I thank you. Jen, thank you. Have a good night. Thank you for tuning in.